And you have just crossed the line. End of debate. Report to the cargo bay and remain there until this is over. Is that understood?
Pokemon, the Japanese animation hair that's fabulous. It's fabulous. It's a compliment.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
You got hair. That's the
I
compliment.
got hair. It's mine. I paid for it.
Shit. Why is your sound so low?
Me?
Yes, your sound's very low.
Oh, I don't know, because I'm a fucking hot mess. Hang on. Y'all bitches just don't know. You know why? Because I'm using the tripod. Hang on.
Hello.
Oh, you're upstairs in the house, I see, and it looks absolutely lovely.
Yeah, right?
Hang on a second. What if I take it off the tripod?
Booby, good to see you, my love. It's always good
You
to see you.
I see the Wonder Woman flying behind you.
She's right there, baby.
She looks fabulous. You know she's coming out in October.
Yes, October. I'm obsessed. I can't stop looking at it.
October is National Coming Out Month, so that's great that she's coming out in October.
Thank you. And I can hear you a lot better.
Well, you know what?
She is bisexual.
Fuck that tripod. That's what she said.
She is.
Fuck that tripod. Once you see a beaver,
trust, bitch.
That was fabulous. That's real rural.
Girl.
I
was sitting up on that rock and I saw a piece of grass moving in the water. And I'm like, the fuck? So of course I take out my phone and start taping. Bitch.
Like you were up on that rock naked like a gecko?
Like a motherfucking gecko girl getting my UV light. And this creature swims towards me.
He looks like he was bringing it to you.
And I guess the rock I was sitting on was on a ledge that the water went under it because bitch, he swam over to me and then went under it and disappeared.
Wow.
It was
that's
amazing.
Fabulous. Mm-hmm. And they're big.
Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm an Otter's Jug Band Christmas, bitch. I was like, what is going on?
Love me some Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Now, I don't know if a otter and a beaver is the same shit, but in this context, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, hi, guys.
Hello there. Hey.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to Fire Chakotay.
Yes.
The fiercest Star Trek Voyager podcast in the universe.
And today we're covering an episode that I believe involves an otter-beaver hybrid.
Yes.
Yeah.
An orchid.
Feeling.
Like an
orchid.
Like a beaver.
Like a beaver, darling.
Speaking of beavers, though, real quick, Miss Booby, can a beaver, could it attack you and actually do real damage to you?
No.
No?
I mean, any animal with teeth can bite you.
Because it's got teeth.
Yeah, they got teeth, but their teeth are not canines, like for tearing meat. It's for chopping wood and eating plants. So it'll hurt. It'll draw blood, but their first instinct is to run away. It's not to fight.
They're more afraid of you.
Exactly.
Than you are of them. Okay.
Exactly.
I think what you should do, Anthony, is put some maple syrup on your finger and go out in the woods and just see what happens.
Why don't you put some maple syrup on your dick and try the same thing?
How do you think I got that beaver's attention? Hello. Let's kick off this episode. Somebody do it.
So today we are covering the episode called TUVIX, which was a season 2 episode number 24, and it came out in May of 1996.
So did I. That is so weird. Weird. I came out the same week as this episode. So crazy. And it really made an impact on me.
I'm sure. Looking like them.
Excuse you. What? Okay. So in a nutshell, let's give a synopsis of this episode. There's a transporter accident.
Yes.
And shit goes a little bit crazy on Voyager.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the basic synopsis.
Basic. Mostly.
It's basic, all right.
Mostly. Okay. Where does this episode start?
On a planet, a very lovely greenhouse planet with lots of trees and grass and flowers. And Tuvok and Neelix are there procuring plants for possible eating, I guess. For usage? For usage. And Neelix is commenting on Tuvok acting a little bit more Tuvokian than usual.
Neelix,
which I thought was a cute
extra.
But I thought it was a cute turn of a phrase, Tuvokian.
Tuvokian.
Yes.
We need to make up a new meaning for that when you're feeding Tuvokian.
Girl, you're being Tuvokian.
When you're being like sarcastic and snarky.
And when
But
you're
like
being
we're
remote,
over it.
remote
And you're over it.
rigid. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
This thing, don't bring me Tuvokian.
honey, you're being Tuvokian, girl. Don't make me.
Don't. If you're Tuvokian, I'm Kevorkian. Girl, don't do it. Don't do it.
I am who I am, Mr. Neelix. It is impossible for me to be more or less like myself.
So he's being Tuvokian, but Neelix is being very Neelixian, okay?
Neelixian.
Yeah.
Being like
He's
really extra.
so extra.
So extra. Ugh. Tell us.
Yeah.
The sun is beaming. The birds are singing. It's absolutely exhilarating.
And like, honey, you could tell that like that Tuvok on the inside is like, I'm gonna skin this alien rabbit in a second.
Yeah.
Well, remember,
Yeah.
there was an episode we didn't cover. I think it's called Meld, where Tuvok melds with some criminal elements or something, and he has a
Yes.
fantasy of strangling Neelix.
Yes.
Yep.
Haven't we
Did
all?
we pass that? Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah, we way past it and we didn't cover it because it wasn't
Okay.
a great episode.
I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Yeah.
okay.
was-
But
it was
I like
good.
the scene with Tuvok strangling Neelix,
Yeah.
which he wants to do
So
quite
badly.
often. Yeah, as we all do. So they're on this planet foraging for botanical things and getting on each other's nerves.
Yeah.
Right.
And just as a little side note, they do come across an alien orchid that I'm not even sure why you would call it an orchid on an alien planet, because it's an alien plant, but they come across an alien orchid. And I just want to say that an orchid, a earth orchid, was actually named after Miss Diamond, a real orchid.
Was there?
Yeah, you have an orchid named after
No,
you,
no,
bitch.
Darling, that's a gardenia.
Oh, it was a gardenia?
Really?
It's gardenia. It's Diamond's Fragrant Delight, available exclusively through Logi's.
Really?
No wonder you like Logi so much.
That's not the only reason, but I like that in the description of Diamond's Fragrant Delight, they say it's like its namesake, Mike Diamond, intoxicating.
Yeah. In that it'll like,
It'll fuck you up.
something fucked up to your DNA.
No, it's a gorgeous plant, Diamond's Fragrant Delight.
and,
Now,
and is it that you discovered it?
in a manner of speaking, I was on a tropical vacation. I can't specify where because of agricultural laws, but I came across a gardenia I hadn't seen or experienced before, and I felt very Tuvokian and decided to take some cuttings back to America with me. And I've sent them on to my friends at Logi's, and they didn't recognize the variety either. It was definitely a Tahitian gardenia of some sort. But after much trial and speculation and testing, it was revealed to be a unique species of gardenia, and they named it in my honor. And I'm very, very proud.
And so you should be.
Yeah, thank you.
Little sidebar.
Thank you for misremembering, really. But thank you.
Hey.
That's also your drag name, Tahitian Orchid.
And misremembering.
Yeah. And Tuvokian.
Hello.
What was that? That was not a chrysanthemum.
Later in this episode?
No. When they were picking up flowers, and Neelix was like, "And look at this
No, the words they're using don't match the objects on screen.
The flowers.
Because later, Harry's going on about a chrysanthemum and a clematis. No, bitch.
Right.
That's like some leftover Christmas decoration they found in the prop department.
They were like silk flowers.
Yeah, which is Harry's drag name.
Trust.
Silk flower.
That's verging on racist.
Just so.
Just a hint.
Oh.
A smatter.
Oh, so do we want to get into Fan Devi? Dan Devi's Asian cousin?
Yes.
From an earlier text thread?
Miss Fan.
Dan Devi.
So Dan Devi, listeners, who was on a earlier episode of Fire Chakotay and who will be on next week, I believe, has, according to Matinga, an Asian cousin named Fan Devi.
Fan Devi. Yes.
And she has her own group, Gasians in Space, and it's amazing.
Exactly. By the way, I've noticed that people have been asking, next week's episode, we will be covering the season-ending episode of Voyager.
Is it a two-parter?
It is a two-parter.
Yes.
But the third part starts the beginning of the third season.
The second part starts the third.
Correct.
Right.
Also, some cute episodes in the third season. I went ahead and started looking.
Yes. And we're going to get to it. Although I have enjoyed season 2, but let's not waste the listeners' time with our opinions. Let's get to the facts. So they're on this planet, being Tuvakian, being Neelixian, and they're going to transport up. I believe it's Hogan in the transporter room.
It sure is.
My man Hogan, okay?
And Harry.
And Harry, because Harry's a jack of all trades, apparently. And
I jack off that trade.
oh, work, bitch. So what happens in the transporter room, girl?
Tinga.
So through some
Kind of.
some kind of thing happens, and Tuvok and Neelix are melded into one being.
One horrifying being.
One horrendous.
Don't talk about her relaxed hair.
And of course everybody's gagged. They think it's an intruder. I do want to say, so Tuvok and Neelix are melded into one being, but not two psyches, not like two competing psyches, like truly melded into one sentient new being.
Their memories and their physical components.
But how did the transporter also meld Tuvok's uniform and Neelix's outfit into a really cute hybrid Starfleet uniform?
I thought this, it was very BLM.
Yeah, I was like, it's got some cute ribbing on top.
Kente.
Yeah, it was like, what is the first time Neelix has ever worn something cute?
I think maybe the transporter just split the difference fashion-wise.
Yeah, so I was a little...
It didn't do him no justice with that hair. That stringy
Hey.
rat tail.
Yeah, rat tail.
Slicked on the sides.
Oh, it's disgusting. So this creature, being.
Yes.
Who looks like he's in drag, a drag queen out of drag with the eyebrows.
She's giving me like if Kennedy Davenport, like just, got too close to a nuclear accident.
Oh.
Yeah. Like weird,
Fuck my
straggly...
drag, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Mind you, I live. But so
right.
This new entity, which is a merging of Tuvok and Neelix, is on the transporter pad, looking fierce, looking around, looking I really just down the middle, because it has Neelix's spots, but Tuvok's sort of skin tone.
And ears.
And it has Neelix's rat tail, but it's black and stringy. And she's got
the personality down the
glowing red eyes.
Glowing red eyes.
Yeah.
I will say that the actor's name is Tom Wright, who appeared on Voyager more than once. Really, like, even though the character is absolutely terrifying, really, like, this actor really, like, splits the difference and gives you half Neelix, half Tuvok. Yeah. He really, really does. He is convincingly a meld of the two personalities.
Because he's kind of perky, but still logical, rational.
But he's got a sense of humor and he's warm, but he's also still like a good officer. But there's something so skeevy, like just skeevy and horrendous.
So they take him to sickbay. Yo.
Booby, right?
Yeah, like child molester.
Just like no.
Like Neelix.
Yeah, just like no. And you're just, and of course, they're like looking at him all askance. Like the captain shows up.
Who the fuck is this?
Right.
And she is looking at him hard. She is like, who is this? And like shady looks. And they take him to the doctor right away, of course, to try and figure out what has happened. And like Miss Catherine isn't having it. Like that scene, she's like looking at him like, I'm not having this.
Intruder.
Yeah.
Well, picture it from their perspective. You know, they expect Tuvok and Neelix, and then they get this Kennedy Davenport shows up.
They get Kennedy Davenport doing high kicks and death drops.
And you're like, sashay away. Fuck your drag.
Fuck your
blam
drag.
Away.
Yes. Yeah. Or shawam, as the children
shawam
say.
Away. So this merged being, goes to sickbay. And the doctor's, I think, a little flippant with him. And also Kes is there. Keep in mind that Kes has an ongoing relationship with Neelix.
And she's bugging.
So I wrote down Kes is gasping in sickbay.
Dude, Booby, I wrote Kes is gagged.
I wrote Kes is gooped.
She's gooped.
She's not having the situation.
No.
No.
she's like, I don't know who or what this is, but where is my piece? Okay. But yet she's going to be part of the treatment plan.
Right. And then the doctor's like, yeah, now Kes, you go take this creature and like go do tests on him. It's like, really? Can't we call Tom? I mean, for Christ's sake, anybody.
Right. And fucking get Baby Wildman to do it. Anybody.
Yeah. And then like because, you know, TUVIX, who hasn't named himself quite just yet, I think he names himself in the next scene, because TUVIX is both characters, he's being solicitous. That's his woman, you know, he calls her sweetie.
But but much later though. At this point, he's still, you know, keeping it in check.
He's trying.
He's trying to be very clear, like, I know who all of you are. I am Tuvok and I am Neelix.
Yeah.
But the Neelix part of him is, you know, maybe coming to the fore a little more, especially around Kes. And she's hard. She's just like, you know, not having it, not playing around. She's going to do these tests, and she's kind of like, ugh. And honestly, you know, Neelix is gross, but this thing is grosser.
But TUVIX, honey, give me Neelix. And like, and by the way, I want to say, like, we're saying he's gross and weird and turned out, and that because he is, but like on the show,
he hit on you at 3 a.m. on your second hit of X.
On a second hit of E, I'd be like,
you know, you'd be like, hey,
honey,
call me Kes.
You could come over here and hit these 2 lips.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, he's also being like,
Cat.
You know, gotcha. But he's also being like, you know, he's actually on the episode, he's being sweet, he's funny, he's a good cook, he's a good officer.
Because
like,
he knows these people.
Yeah. So it's not like the character isn't played as a monster, but it's just like, oh my God, no.
Well,
just because he's hideous doesn't mean that he's unusable. Like he got a
physically
job.
Hideous. He's physically hideous.
And once again, I want to say
it's that rat tail.
And once again, I want to say the actor like puts in a freaking performance.
Yeah, he's trying to be splitting down the difference there.
And he really does.
And after 24 hours in sick bay, they release him into the wild, basically. The captain's like, I ain't putting you on the bridge just yet.
Right.
How about you go work in the mess hall?
Right. Sends the black dude to go work in the mess hall?
With your Kunta Kinte robe.
And then Miss Kes, like, still rocking her, like, you know, Maid Marian tights and tunic.
Right, but cold as ice.
But cold with him.
Yes. Cold as ice. And by this point, he's decided that his name is TUVIX. The other option was
Nevok or lipstick.
Nevok
like
sounds like acne medication.
Yeah.
Girl, just put a little dab of Nevok on that, honey. You'll be just fine.
You'll be fine in like 24 hours.
Well, and actually, I did a little research. In the original script for this episode, it had a different title and a slightly different concept that Tuvok and Neelix had merged, but some of their organs weren't compatible, and he was going to call himself TUDIX. Now, if that was how it went down, I think Cass would have warmed up a little.
Like Lord knows I would have.
Yeah, you can call me TUDIX. All right.
You froze, mama.
Call me comfortable. Yeah. All right. So you got TUDIX, and he's running around Voyager, not in the mess hall. Even he gets there eventually, but he's slowly integrating into the crew.
Right. Yes. And meanwhile, at the same time, the doctor is working on a fix, on a cure, but time is passing.
Right.
They haven't left the planet. They're going back and forth, collecting more samples, but time is passing.
Testing the transporter thing to see what happens, and every time they get flowers and send them back and forth, the flowers die.
Right.
Doesn't Captain Janeway invite him to the senior staff meeting to discuss what happened to him?
She does.
And I gotta say, everyone there is a little aloof with him.
Yeah. They don't know her.
But
they do.
But the weird thing though is, even though he's got Tuvok's memories and Neelix's memories, it doesn't, and the personality is similar to both. He really it's not like somebody, it's not like a Laura who has multiple personality disorder. He melds into sort of one different being.
He's
right.
right.
A unique being.
A unique being.
A new, unique amalgam. He's a hybrid. He's literally a hybrid.
A chimera.
In that,
Chimera.
yes.
House of Chimera, darling.
Exactly. Chimera.
Hello. Darling, I'm Nevok Chimera, darling. What about it?
From the House of Chimera.
So...
And in that meeting, he actually gives some good advice that they take. Like, it's his idea that leads them down a road
about the orchid.
Further to
sex.
Yes, sex.
About the orchid.
And Captain Janeway's like, I beg your pardon?
She's like, not with you.
Not with you.
Sex.
I beg your pardon.
Symbiogenesis, darling.
Symbiogenesis.
Tell me more about these two dicks.
Have you met my gay darling? Have you met my gay daughter, Symbiogenesis?
Symbiogenesis chimera.
Exactly, of the House of Chimera.
Darling. So he comes up with the concept of whatever element of the orchid that was transported with Tuvok and Neelix, it reproduces symbiogenetically. And that may be a key to the solution here. And as Janeway says, that's the best solution I've heard so far. It's the only solution I've heard. The only theory I've heard so far. Meanwhile, I think Neelix is sort of overtaking the TUVIX persona and coming for Miss Cass, like waiting outside her door, creeping on her.
During the meeting in the ready room that we discussed, like, do you notice that there is a shot where he grabs her shoulder? If you like, you go back and watch it. Yeah, he's talking to the captain, but Kes is sitting down in front of him, and he leans in and touches her shoulder, and Kes kind of looks like him, like, don't touch me.
Lay off of me.
Yeah.
I hate you. I hate this house, and I hate Christmas.
I said cha-cha heels.
Yes.
Black ones.
Yeah, he's creeping on her because the Neelix part of him loves her. Yeah. But you'd think that the Tuvok part would be like, slow your roll, beast. She don't want it.
It really, it's odd, but it's like, you know that they've got to save Neelix and Tuvok, but in a way, the TUVIX character, he is an interesting, better combination of the two.
Well, he knows everything they know, so he can be tactical. He can also, he could bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan.
Yeah, he's warm and approachable. He's a good officer. He's got like the intellect, but now he's got Neelix's heart. Right. But yet and still, like every time he was on screen, my skin would crawl.
Because the makeup, I think it's the eyes.
Yeah, it's the eyes. They're haunting. They follow you wherever
and they're
you go.
Gigantic.
Yeah.
They're like these big sort of dark amber colored contacts. And that with that fucking nasty rat tail coming out.
Nappy.
Nasty, nappy rat tail coming out the back of his head, girl. Well, Matinga, you know. And
Trust.
But I got to give props to Tom Wright, the actor, because there was a point where I stopped thinking, oh, this is a combination of Tuvok and Neelix. This is a new being.
This is a being.
TUVIX is a new being.
Yeah.
And even Cass eventually starts to be like, I guess we could be friends.
I'm gonna be your friend.
And maybe even more. Like, literally weeks go by. The doctor finally gives up the ghost and says, I think it is unlikely that I'm going to be able to fix this problem. And then that's when they depart that planet, and TUVIX is on the ship, of course, and they go on. Now, mind you, I want to say in the last episode that we reviewed, the doctor de-evolves 2 human beings from amphibian life form back to human. And this is beyond him, separating these 2 human beings. It's so situational.
But it's sci-fi, but it's 2 beings and this plant.
Right.
For some reason, they can't separate them. I mean,
but the word is yet, because the doctor does come up with something in later on.
Because we know that they're not going to get rid of Tom Russ and Ethan Phillips.
No.
Although think of it this way, though. So because those 2 people were merged into one less crew member, that's more rations. that's more energy. Like, you know, they condensed. It's sort of like streamlining the crew in a way, because he can do it all and use half of the supplies.
And apparently he made better coffee and was a better cook. Like, and you know,
and solve some kind of logic thing on the bridge.
Exactly, and starts to integrate himself into the crew. Now, mind you, I have a theory that at the beginning, because remember, it's TUVIX that comes up with the idea of maybe it has to do with sex and this symbiogenic whatever. I think like if they had been able to figure it out right then, TUVIX would have been like, let's do this. But like time passes by and TUVIX becomes a person and integrated into the crew, and actually people start to like him.
He's on the holodeck shooting pool with
at Sandrine's
with
Paris and Chakotay.
And turning people out.
And turning people out, and just, you know, they're all like, what's up with your spots and what's up with your rat tail, and you better do what you can take cloth.
And do you really got 2 dicks?
Right. Do you got 2 dicks? And are you going to Drag Con? Because hello.
Wild, are you going to Drag Con? Are you going to get a table at Drag Con, get some merch?
Do you want to taste?
Trust, do you want to taste? Here in outer space.
Oh, yes.
So, now mind you, while this is happening, Kes goes to the captain. And I found it very odd, by the way. Kes hits a button and just opens the captain's door of her room. Like, doesn't even say, Captain, this is Kes.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Just hits a button. It opens. The captain turns around. She's in a robe, her hair loose.
Right.
Looking lovely.
Looking lovely. And she just walks up to the door and she's like, oh, Kes. And I'm like, honey, like, announce yourself, Kes. What the hell? So anyway, Kes.
Unless the door knew it was Kes and let the captain know.
Like
maybe.
Like thumbprint.
Right.
Right. And the captain, and you don't hear the captain from inside say, just
come
ready,
in.
I'm open. Yeah. So, but Kes goes to speak to the captain about her feelings about Neelix. And you remember in all this that Tuvok is the captain's best friend and confidant. So they're in a similar situation and they're both mourning, you know? They're both mourning the loss, you know?
The captain's reading Tuvok's letters.
Yeah.
And, you know, she can see the warmth between the lines. And they're commiserating because everyone on the ship has lost friends, you know, in this instance, but they've lost people close to them.
And Miss Catherine, just so warm and so loving. I mean, who wouldn't want a boss that you know, takes care of business that way and loves you that way?
Right. In a little nightie,
In that little nightie.
And, you know, Kes is saying, I miss Neelix. I love Neelix. I miss Neelix. And Janeway understands. And she's like, I know you're having difficulty dealing with TUVIX, but have you thought about 2 clits?
2 clits.
And
Trust.
Kes is like, 2 clits? For the price of 1?
I think I'll buy one.
I think I'll buy one. 2 clits for the price of 1.
Oh, that made me dizzy.
It's a Delta Quadrant bargain. So, moving on. So 2 clits. So they're making headway in sick bay and engineering and whatever sources they're using to unravel this chromosomal mystery.
Right.
And what happens?
Now we're stuck on 2 clits.
2 clits.
2 clits. 2 clits. Better than 1, darling.
Come over here and lick these 2 clits.
I mean, you could. After my surgery, I had 2 tits, which was such an improvement.
No, wait a minute. Wouldn't it be 4 tits? It would be 4 tits
after my surgery. No, honey, I started out with no tits.
Oh, okay.
They call me 2 Tits Magoo. What are you going to do about it?
I think we're getting. I think we're getting a little far afield.
Yeah,
I think so.
There's no logic to this. Okay, so what happened? Where we at and where we going?
So finally, as we all know, the doctor is working, and has a theory that he shares with Harry about how perhaps he can reverse this. Harry right away is like, hey, let me run over and assist you with this. Meanwhile, TUVIX is at Sandrine's turning everybody out at pool. Turning everybody out.
Yeah, I'm still laughing. I'm sorry.
Fucking 2 clits is in Sandrine's.
Yes.
And like nobody, like literally playing pool with his vajayjay.
Yo, Kes goes to Sandrine like, you need to get a sick bay immediately because she can't wait to get rid of this creature.
No, she goes to sickbay to say,
to
"Hey,
befriend him.
let's be friends," and actually even give him hope that there may
be something going on between them later.
Yeah, because she's finally there.
Doesn't he go from the holodeck to sickbay?
No.
Well, then they call him. Please
the doctor
report to
says.
Right.
Yeah, please report to sickbay. And then he gets there. The captain's there too, and the doctor discusses, "Hey, I think I have figured out a way to reverse this." And everyone's like, "Ooh, work!" Then all gags. He turns around and say, TUVIX turns around and says, "No,
I don't want to die.
I don't want to die. I am a sentient being. I am a separate individual now, and I don't want to give up this life." Dum da dum dum.
She's very Susan Hayward. I want to live.
Yeah.
And he says, I have a right to live.
And I have a right to live.
Right.
Yeah. And I just want to say that, Miss Catherine shooting from the hip, and she's in the Delta Quadrant, so the choices are hers. But I want to say that if they were in the Alpha Quadrant, the choice would not solely be hers.
But they are where they are.
If they were in the Alpha Quadrant, he could petition to Starfleet and say, "Hey, I am now a separate and individual life," and they'd have to kind of go around and around that.
They have to have a court hearing and
like in the last episode with Death Wish with the Q, she grants him asylum, but she's not gonna. Well, she's considering the options.
She is tortured, certainly by it, and she talks to Robert Beltran, to Chakotay about it, and they go round and round about it for a couple scenes.
Chakotay seems unbothered that Tuvok and Neelix are gone.
He's unbothered.
So unbothered.
He actually says, "I like him."
Right, the whole is better than the sum of its parts. I'm like,
yeah.
Chakotay, you want to get into my hole, and I'll take the sum of your parts.
Honey, my hole's got 2 clits.
Give me some of your parts. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a big dramatic scene on the bridge. Oh, no, wait. Kes goes to see Janeway, and it's like, I want Neelix back. And right after that, she marches onto the bridge, and she's like, Mr. TUVIX.
It's Kes that because the captain is swayed, but it's Kes that really sways her.
Right.
And actually, go on, girl.
At one point, TUVIX speaks to Kes to petition to the captain to let him live, and she does that. But she's so torn about it, and
she does it for 3 seconds.
Yeah, and then she's like, "But I want Neelix.
I want that nasty sexual predator back."
Exactly. I don't like the one that you brought on. It's
exactly
it's not the same. Ew, gross.
Darker.
Well,
And then there's a short little moment where the captain is alone off, in that room off to the side. It's not the ready room. It's her little private office. The lights are down. She's in front of the window. She's clearly deep in thought. And then she stands up. You could tell she has made
her decision.
And once again, Catherine makes the decision arbitrarily about the lives of the people under her. And yes, that is the job of the captain, but this is the first time I actually thought, I think she's a little unbalanced.
I think this is the episode where, it's the right way, the wrong way, and then the Janeway.
And the Janeway.
This is the episode where Captain Janeway starts to get bipolar.
A little bipolar-ish.
He's a little borderline bipolar, narcissistic personality, 2-clit syndrome.
Yeah, but this is a fan theory that is out there, child.
Right, but this is the episode where she turns.
That it's the episode certainly where I thought, oh shit, because
playing,
or maybe she's just starting to crack.
Right, and then because she does say. In that conversation with Kes in her bedroom, she does say there are some times when I feel hopeful and I feel like we're going to make it. And then there's times when I dream of my man and I don't feel hopeful.
That man, Mark.
when I think of Mark.
With,
and so you could tell
with
that
the
like
big cable knit sweaters and the golden retrievers.
and the golden retriever. And she's
Mike.
like, and you could tell that like that there's that dissonance there that I think, yeah, let's just say what happens in the next scene.
She comes onto the bridge and says, Mr. TUVIX, would you come with me? And he knows what's up.
I think you could say it in front of all of y'all.
Yeah, Booby, what happens? He carries.
And she's like, no, I need to talk to you alone. And he was like, then he starts petitioning to different people in the bridge. Are you going to let her murder? Are you going to let her do this to me?
Security to the bridge.
Commander, you're going to stand by and do nothing while she commits murder. Doesn't anyone see that this is wrong?
And catch the crew not reacting.
Not at all.
Not reacting.
But reacting with their eyes.
But gagging.
Yes.
Well, gagging.
But gagging.
I mean, they're gagging because they're like, oh, I guess Captain has decided. But they're also gagging because like, oh shit, are we gonna let this guy just like get killed?
He's losing it up on the bridge.
But he is flipping out.
That is a moral dilemma, and he's pleading for his life.
He's like, is anybody gonna fucking help me?
Right.
And she calls security, Captain calls security. He tries to make a dash for it. Where are you gonna go?
Where are you gonna go?
That was the Neelix part of him.
Where are you gonna go?
Where are you gonna go?
Why you wanna take my life from me?
There's nowhere to go.
And finally, security comes. It's this rather sporty looking woman and a rather tall black man.
A woman you see it behind the scenes all the time.
I never noticed her before.
Yeah, there was one scene where TUVIX was walking down the hallway, greeting people and saying hi to people, and he says hi to the older black gentleman who was in an episode
that you
prior.
pointed him out in the Q episode.
Yeah, because I'd never seen him before.
Right.
Yeah.
They try to keep the background people consistent. Yeah. So Janeway's like, let him go. And then security and Tuvok get in the turbo lift, and Janeway gets in with them.
And she's got a stern old face.
Yes. Gets in but like when they let him go, he pulls himself back together with some dignity and says, everyone on this bridge, everyone on this ship is going to have to live with the decision that is being made here today.
He's like, you're good people.
You're good people.
Because he does
and I forgive you.
And I forgive you.
But you could suck my Leola root. Yep.
Now, mind you, at this point,
this here hybridized spotted Leola root.
And mind you, at this point, like the blood was pounding in my head. Like I was all worked up. I was like, oh shit. And they get down to the medical lab, and the doctor does something which I thought was beautiful.
Yeah. He heeded his Hippocratic oath, and he refused to perform the surgical separation.
Yep. He says, I will do no harm. So he is stating right there his opinion that
he was the one person, the one
dissent. Yeah.
I will
not harm this life. Step aside.
Fine, step aside, bitch.
Yep.
Let me do it.
Let me do it. And everyone in the room is just kind of gagging. Also, why is Cass there again? I know she works in sick bay.
But she should be recused from this.
Yeah, like it's so icky. She's gonna stand there and watch him be murdered so she can get her peace back. It's gross.
It's
and who
gross.
Else is there? Harry's there. And
Cass, the doctor, and the captain. And mind you, like the captain is looking hard.
She's looking stern.
Yeah.
Very stern, very determined.
She's like, I am doing this. While
I want my Tuvok.
She wants her Tuvok. Right. And it's like, listen, I know she's suffering. I know that she thought about it. I know that like it's hard. I know that the Captain Janeway will never forget this, maybe never forgive herself. But she does it.
She grabs the hypo spray thing. She's like, is this the isotope? The radio isotope that they're going to use to somehow separate TUVIX back into Tuvok and Neelix. And the doctor's like, yeah, but I ain't doing it. So the captain says to TUVIX, get on the bio bed. A line I've been waiting to hear my whole life. And he does. And I don't think he has any more dialogue, but the look on his face where he's like
looking straight ahead with those scary eyes.
Like you're actually going to do this. And to Janeway's credit, she stares him dead in the eyes when she puts the hypo spray into his neck. And then energize. And through some kind of transporter magic, TUVIX is
Split
into being Tuvok and Neelix.
The medical transporter, splits them back into two separate beings.
Mm-hmm.
You don't find out, do they remember any of this?
They don't really
don't know.
up.
Yeah. And of course, Neelix jumps into Kess's arms.
Hello, sweetie.
Tuvok is there. The captain says, good. She walks out of the medical bay, and you could tell she's shook. She's shook. She murdered him. She murdered him.
She did murder him.
And I've got to say that, like, I honestly, and to the, because okay, so this is a piece of theater. We knew Ethan and Tim were coming back. But let's say this is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that Voyager was a real ship lost in the Delta Quadrant, and this was a real thing. Like, bad choice, the wrong choice. For me, wrong choice.
But Matinga, think of it this way: what if Miss Carmine and Rob, our homegirl Rob, were merged into one being? Even if you like that new being, Robin,
yes,
wouldn't you want the other two back?
Or Carmob.
Or Carobe.
Wouldn't you want
Carobe?
And you had the power to unsplit them. Wouldn't you want to do it?
Well, okay, like if they, like, because you're putting me in the Kess role and the captain role, but say I'm just an officer on that ship. Say I'm some other officer that has no vested interest.
Mm-hmm.
I would feel very, very differently. And as I'm going to answer it as if I'm just an officer on the ship, I would be like, she murdered this
our friend.
Creature. Yeah, she murdered this creature. It's weird. Like, it shook me. It was like, I was really shook by it, and I didn't like that choice. Like, I knew that is the choice that she had to make, but like, it was the wrong choice for me.
Well.
Yeah, it did not sit well with me. And also, it's like, how many times are you going to play fast and loose with the Prime Directive, morality, the lives of this crew, this ship? Like, even a great captain, like, makes bad decisions. This was one of them. It was a horrible choice.
So you would have had her not kill him.
You know what? I would have begged for his life. I would have begged for his life.
I think I would have missed Tuvok, but
for TUVIX.
Who would have begged?
Me, like, if I was an officer on that ship.
Oh, gotcha.
I would have begged for his life.
I don't think I would have, because I don't think I could stomach looking at that fucking creature. Yeah. As much as I would not.
What about T'Pel, his wife, Tuvok's wife?
Oh, what about T'Pel? T'Pel this.
T'Pel. You know, T'Pel is like some dry Vulcan vajayjay. Honey, like 160.
I thought T'Pel was dandruff shampoo.
She actually lovely. Didn't they show her at some point?
I think they do.
When he was having when Tuvok was having some kind of hallucination or something.
Right.
Yeah.
T'Pel. Wait. T'Pel. Didn't they have a song? Oh, that's T'Pau.
That's T'Pau. But you know what? Listen.
Have a little bit of heart and soul.
Have a little bit of heart and whole. I've got 2 clits for your soul. Yes. Do you think she made the right choice? Do you feel she made the right choice, Boo?
I do, because Tuvok and Neelix, she at one point she was discussing it with him, and she said, I have to be their voice. They don't have a voice right now because they're not present. He's like, but they are present in me.
Yeah.
But she was like, but that don't count though.
But you don't count.
You don't count though, because you are 2 people in one, bitch.
And if you're going to do 2 people in one, have 2 people in me. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, honey, that has happened for sure.
Grease me up and call it Monday, bitch.
And Miss Booby and Miss Michael?
I think it was a no-win situation. Either choice you make as captain in that situation is going to be
screwed.
Wrong. But in this instance, I personally could not look at that face. I mean, I say kill TUVIX and just give me Tuvok. Don't even bring Neelix back. Give me Tuvok and those space orchids. And I'm
keep Neelix in the orchids.
Yeah,
spotted orchids.
Now he's an orchid plant thing.
Yeah, he could live in hydroponics bay, whatever. So yeah, I thought it was a really dark episode. It's one of my favorite Voyager episodes because it's so freaky.
It's so memorable.
Yeah.
It's high concept.
And it's hard to watch.
Yeah, it takes such a dark turn. And I think it's where Captain Janeway starts to go a little bit bonkers, which I love. I love bonkers Janeway. Yeah. Although you could see that last shot of her, she has regret.
Of course.
She has regret, and she's like, this isn't like some trivial thing that she did.
No.
She knows what she did.
Welcome back, Tuvok and Neelix.
It's good to have you back.
Now?
And then she just stalks out.
It's good to have you back. Doctor, deactivate yourself immediately. Step aside. I give this episode TUVIX. I give this episode 4 out of 5 fire Chakotays. I do love this episode. Even though it creeped me out and gave me nightmares.
I will say that I probably enjoyed this episode the most that I ever have because I really paid attention. I'm going to give it 4 Leola Root too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5.
Ooh.
I really loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Some deep, deep issues. Once again, Voyager tackling issues of life and death and who gets to choose and, you know. Bad makeup and questionable fashion.
On Kess.
And now this makes this our highest rated episode. Our combined score for this, they keep going up and up and up. I think we're liking season 2 more and more as we go along.
I will say, and we said, we're skipping around and blah, 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 because the first 3 seasons are kind of tired, but like every episode we've chosen, we pretty much liked.
Mm-hmm. One episode that we aren't doing that I did watch just for the fucking kiki, I forget the name of the episode, but it's the one where Janeway and Chakotay have to stay on this planet because they get a virus.
Yes.
And they're like wearing some kind of
monkey.
There's a monkey that makes no sense.
None.
They're wearing like Holly Hobby fashions. He builds her a bathtub. He gives her like a neck massage.
Yeah.
And she's very blasé about being stuck on this planet. And Chakotay looking fine.
Yeah.
Like if there was a burgeoning love interest within them, it was in this episode.
He was in this episode.
He was feeling it. He was feeling it.
Oh, for sure.
What the hell is that episode called? I don't know. I'll put it on the screen or whatever. It's the one where he built her a bathtub. Let's just say that.
Right.
Yeah.
And a headboard.
I think that the writers were trying to perhaps set that up, and it was definitely Kate Mulgrew who was like, no.
In that episode,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Get your arm out your shirt, Chakotay, acting like you ain't got no arm.
You need to fill out a job application.
Job application. In that episode that we are not talking about, the one where he built her a bathtub, he looks kind of like Jango Fett. A little bit.
Yes, he does.
He's looking real hot. So, but TUVIX is our highest rated episode yet. And if you are enjoying the content that we are putting out there, and really, how could you not be? 2 clicks and all, hit us up on Patreon and or Venmo. We are Workshop, WERQSHOP Workshop.
And while you're at it, we would highly appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, and that way you will be informed every time we put out a new episode of Fire Chakotay, as well as homework.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And rate and review, please.
Rate and review us, please.
Please.
Yes.
But be kind.
Rate and review us kindly.
Rewind.
Yeah. Don't be all Janeway gangster on us. Don't put us out of our misery, okay?
Don't murder me.
Is everyone just going to stand here? We have a right to live.
You know that Lindsay Wagner is in the remake of I Want to Live. And I actually never saw the original, but she kind of like plays like a gun moll who's put to death.
Do you know that Lindsay Wagner was the first choice to play TUVIX?
Do you know that Lindsay Wagner, this is not a joke. Look it up on Google. They considered Lindsay Wagner to play Auntie Entity in that Mad Max in Thunderdome. And they considered Lindsay Wagner.
The one that Tina Turner played?
Yeah.
Yes.
Lindsay Wagner and Lionel Wagner are brother and sister.
No.
I say it's true. And if I say it's true, it's true.
One is Wagner and one is Wagner.
Exactly.
Wag this, you hybrid bitch.
Anyway, that tangent aside, this has been another episode of Fire Chakotay. This is Miss Matinga.
This is Mike Diamond.
And this is Booby.